Hello world, I'm Farsight, and welcome or welcome back to Techtonica. So let's deal with this contact before the dinging drives me nuts.
Signal triangulated. New location added to HUD. Trespassers may be monitored.
Okay, so we already are given supply and repair door SC9928 along with the contact on the HUD, which is off of that away. There's some writing below that spot, which I can't read. Looks like it might be a distance in hundreds of meters. Yeah, unfortunately, it's like 3 pixels high on the 1080p display. I kind of standardized on recording at 1080p so I could keep a whole bunch of videos on local disk without running out. So let's see, it's up that way. So that looks like out beyond my base there towards iron. I know that there was an office there with a door. Can I maybe open this space out a little bit around the... As long as I'm running back up these, I'm going to see if I can put some headroom around the monorail track. I thought I would have enough headroom with using the 9 high to dig it out, but apparently not. So I won't be able to actually experiment with the monorail quite yet. I need to decide on what I might want to carry back and forth to Victor. It looks like SC. So IT pointed us back to this place where we've already kind of been here. This requires cooling systems and monorail tracks. Well, I can make those. So it wants 40 monorail track. I can make 38 and I've got some. And it wants cooling systems. It wants 20 of them. While that's making, I'm going to tidy up the area. Try to tidy up the area. SC. Don't know what that stands for. Trespassers will be monitored sounds like an intelligence operation. Secret something?
Facility access door unavailable. Refer to display panel for self-repair requirements.
We had enough cooling systems, I just need to get more monorail tracks. Here's another place where I'm going to be putting in the electric-powered drills. Well, you can see we are not using up all of the iron. Possibly what I want to do is build one big iron thing, maybe here, and ship iron back down to Victor, and find one place to do copper. If I use that copper that's kind of in the middle, we need to have a monorail line going from copper to X-ray and a monorail line going from copper to Victor, or take the copper from the copper mine and send it to Central Depot somewhere. So we have a Central Depot. We go from the iron mine to the Central Depot. Go from the copper mine to the Central Depot. Go from the Central Depot to Hydro and Victor and so on. And if we put the Central Depot here at Hydro, it means we can skip one line. I'm not liking how that shakes out, but it does give me a star configuration on the network, which means we don't end up with 3 or 4 monorail lines on top of each other, which I like. So what we do if we, there's the idea of the junction. So if you would put in a junction, what you do instead is you terminate the lines at the location of the junction and you move the cargo on belts between machines. Now this does mean that a junction of the monorail lines uses up a lot of real estate. So you wouldn't want to do it very often. So I'm hoping that the monorails have good throughput. Anything else I can scan down in this area? Yes, all of this stuff. And I'm going to start grabbing Kindlevine again because I'm using up 50 Kindlevine seeds to set up each farm. And you're not generating seeds, so what seeds you have is what seeds you got. The other clue I have on SC is it opened up when I was building monorail tracks. Something related to transport, maybe. There we go. Let's open it up.
This looks like the main IT facility for the sector. I remember hearing strange rumors about the records they were storing here, but I'll settle for a few useful pieces of tech.
Okay, information technology. That was what the original contact
there were barely
was.
10,000 people in my hometown. I was the only person from there who made it into the expedition.
Your family must have been very proud.
That's what they tell me. I still went home now and then when I was at the planning department up in Alaska. Then, one day, you wake up and they tell you you're not in the planning department anymore. You're actually going to Calyx.
That kind of transfer would have been very rare. There must have been extraordinary circumstances.
I guess. There was even a parade, apparently. Thankfully, I was already in orbit.
Okay, so we have scanned a few upgrades. I was paying more attention to what Parks and Paladin were saying, but they will be there. Snowman.
These look like computer security logs, written by someone named Snowman. My memory of him is scattered. Might be someone I wanted to forget.
Snowman was the head of information technology. I appreciated his attention to detail. Others were less enthusiastic.
These databank logs read like bad teenage drama. He was spying on people.
Many people selected for the expedition had secondary qualities of note. Perhaps his interest in amateur espionage was a mechanism for command to detect and fix petty disputes before they escalated into serious ones.
If we find this guy in a cube somewhere, we're setting his volume to 0.
No. He must be permitted to communicate.
I'm kidding, Colonel.
You were not.
Okay, so there is some protected area below. Not a whole lot in there, just whatever research it was we scanned. I may go back and look at the recording and write down the research, but it will be there in the tech tree. So, we were looking for things that were marked as scan and are now available to be unlocked. Let's take a look. Filter Mark 2 is teasing us up there. Suit Speed and Rail Rush are still locked, darn it. So we didn't scan anything that we needed that we could activate immediately. Let's take a look at the upcoming technologies for Victor upgrade. We've got Mole Speed 3, the faster Mole and Synthesis. We have Smelter, which we knew about. Logistics is still locked up. Rotation. Energy, we have farther cables and better accumulators. So iterative improvements there. Up on X-ray, we have, well, it will continue to open up the new base building parts. Apparently there's a gate we didn't scan. I've been scanning everything at the base part areas. I mean, I've been scanning everything down and putting it in boxes. So apparently there's a gates 2, gates 3. These are additional gates that we... Oh, these guys are going to require purple. Good. Oh, wait, no. Well, we're still moused over these guys down here. So, apparently there's fancier gates that we haven't seen yet. And I can't scroll up any further, so either as we open up plot points, either we will extend the tree and be able to scroll up, or for 0.2, 3 more upgrades of X-ray is it. Might be. And Victor's got 4 more upgrades. Lima's already done. Lima's tutorial. That's IT. So now we go back to what is it we want to accomplish next. Upgrading X-ray is going to require chunks. Chunks requires our better miners, and our better miners are locked up behind upgrades of Victor, I believe it is. No, we do have mining drill Mark II. We don't have the mining drills that kick explosives yet. Where did those go? No, blast drills. Here they are. So those opened up with X-ray. So we do have the technology to make blast drills, which means we do have the technology to make chunks. We can do blast drills and multi-blast there, which gets us our chunks. Put chunks in at X-ray. Let's build, say, 2 blast drills and see what we can make with them. Blast drills require reinforced iron and copper frames, and those intermediates require iron and copper frames, which require copper ingots and iron ingots. Well, those are also what we need to upgrade Victor, is the iron and copper frames. Let's head over to Victor, and at Victor I want to automate iron and copper frames. I want to feed half of them to Victor, and I want to put the other half in boxes. We already have processor units automated down there, so we can feed processor units to Victor. Oh, wait a minute. 500. Let's carry... Oh. At Victor, I was making processor units and putting them in a box. We can satisfy that. I really want to get the Atlantum ingots done so I can make my little rapid transit thingy. So processors, like over here somewhere, I think. Yeah, and we only need 500 of them for Victor, so let's just give it to him. So he also needs, well, the frames are going to make the frames. He's going to need 700 conveyor belts. We need to automate the conveyor belts too. Let's take a look. He wants just the frames, not the fancy frames. How much of this base can we tear down? We want to keep the farms, because the farms are providing the fuel that is bringing back the iron and copper. We don't need the processor units anymore here, nor do we need our assembler that I was using to look at biobricks. Let's take up our processor unit thingy. Oh, and I am still looking at the wrong set of tools. Get back to my primary set of tools. So we still need to provide fuel for our smelters. Once we have the upgrade done, we'll take care of that. Everything else is flowing. What is being used? So Kindlevine, we're not actually using any of our Kindlevine outputs. So those will just be stuck in boxes and they'll stay there. Shiverthorn, we are not actually using any of that, except it is providing the fuel. So when the fuel backs up, we stop. That's great. And we will keep piling Shiverthorn extract in the box. So this whole area here, these farms, they're now just kind of reserve. So let's take a look at what we need to build. We want iron boxes. Well, we have two ways of making biobrick. Plant matter brick and limestone brick come together, or plant matter and limestone. So limestone brick, each limestone brick is made of 500 limestone. So that's not fair. I think this is going to require some rebalancing, guys. Anyway, what we want is the iron frames and the reinforced iron frames eventually. But not yet. Here's iron frames. So iron frames are going to require 12.5, they're going to require 37.5 iron and they turn out frames. Okay. We're going to put in a fast inserter there. And we're just going to dump it in a box. Just like that. Hold on. We want half of it to go into a box, and we want the other half to go to Victor. We'll worry about that in a moment. Next thing we want is the copper frames. And this is the same thing, so we're going to put in a fast inserter, grabbing copper, and that's going to have to come in on the side because it has to come down from above. So each one of these wants to send half one way and half the other way. I'm going to pull a trick from Factorio. Oh, this doesn't guarantee it's going to go half and half, does it? Okay, enough thinking. Let's start out by laying out boxes, and then we will do our thing. So we need a box that gets half. I put a box here. The way I get half is by putting a splitter in. Just going to send half of it around the back. Like that. Yes, this should work. And that tag is going to head off toward Victor somehow. And I'm going to make this symmetric. No, I can't. If I make it symmetric, I can't get the tag in. Let's do it out that way. Because I was suddenly encountering the challenge of sending my materials toward Victor. If I put my two machines down next to each other and bring the copper in here, like this. What I want to do is bring this stuff out like that. I want to toss it in a box, but I want to toss half of them in, so we're going to do this. Okay, that splits our outputs, and half will go each way, and if we manage to fill up Victor, the rest of them will go in the box. I am going to run the materials, and the materials are going to head back toward Victor, and they just have to be slotted one into each. It's kind of a slow rate, but we will get there. We can go over the top in this grand stack, or we can head off to the left and around. I'm going to head off left. It still kind of goes up high, but yeah, you get what you pay for. We're going to come over here and in like that. I'm heavily encumbered. What am I carrying? I'm carrying all sorts of junk, aren't I? Drop a box here and drop my junk. Do not need that. Do not need that. That got me light enough. That's got me light enough. Now I'm carrying all of the processors that were in the processor box we picked up. Do not know what I'm going to do with them. Go to here. And we're going to turn. And we're going to turn. Go. There's our inputs of our iron frames and copper frames. Oh, Victor also needs power. How about we do that? We need to place a connector here somewhere. And we need to connect using a power cable. There. So now Victor should know that it has power. And if we check, indeed, the number of megajoules up here is satisfied. I've got 750 megajoules in my accumulators. I was actually a little worried about that. I remembered I put down more accumulators. I'd forgotten that I'd built up the whole thing. We may need to add accumulators as time goes by, but that's a good chunk. So we come back to here, we look okay. All we need to do now is tell it you are making iron frames and you are making copper frames. So what else do we need to automate? I'm going to need conveyor belt Mark IIs. I'll need 700 of those. So let's go rough it out. So, conveyor belt Mark II requires Mark I, copper components, and shiverthorn extract. Okay. Well, we happen to have a lot of shiverthorn extract available. Yay! The shiverthorn extract comes directly in. We still need belts and copper components. Why do I always put them on the corner when I'm working on a rough out? I need to do it like this. So, belt 2s. This side we need to have the copper components. Which just come from copper ingots. That's great. So we're going to put a marker inserter in there saying you are going to get copper ingots. And because I'm on an AMD video card and this bug still exists, there's our filter inserter. We have to mouse over it to see what goes in there. So this guy's going to need 93 of these. So we're going to put in a fast inserter here, which is 40. We're going to need 2 fast inserters. That gets us 80. And that gets us 100. So there's that. We're also going to need, oh boy, look at all the volumes there. I don't think I'm going to be able to run this at full speed. Right, because so 90 is going to be 3 fast inserters. Belts, we're going to need 180 of them. So, yeah. What if I say we're going to allow for that much? Belt 1s. This does 180 input. So this will move 30. Oh, I wanted to use fast inserters. Sorry. 40, 80, 160. So we're not going to be able to run this guy flat out unless I add more things. this guy's running 180 coming from the left, 160 coming from the left. Looks like it's, yeah, 2 to 1. So 2 reds coming from here at the with the copper components. And we need 2 more inserters for Shiverthorn. That. This guy is going to require 1 inserter for copper. This gets copper coming in. That's got Shiverthorn coming in there. And our output is 180, is the same thing. So yeah, that's as much as we can do. This is going to be producing quite a lot of this. And we want to split it half and half, so half goes into a box. Well, this is 106. That still fits on a box. So we just want to move this over properly. How am I going to do this so it has Shiverthorn coming in? Oh, I see how to do this. So the Shiverthorn needs to be on this next belt over. We may need to sink the fuel to increase our Shiverthorn extract production here. So yeah, our tier 2 belt production will probably be throttled based on Shiverthorn. Given that, yeah, let's put the tier 1 belts into a box and have it drive it. Because realistically, how much Shiverthorn are we getting here? Our maximum would be 90 per minute. So what if we throttle ourselves? Well, let's see. Route first. All this gets going away because he is now going to be... We're now going to bring our Shiverthorn down as part of our bus. Oh, I need to drop some crap. So we need to bring it over. I want to lay it on top of this guy. Can I put a box here? Yeah, I had it there. There we go. It's right here. Me and my bases that are not walkable. Never have been. That brings us to here. I'm just going to bring it down like that. And we need to have the Shiverthorn available at ground level. Do this. Gonna make it harder to get iron over here, isn't it? Yes, it is. This work again. I needed to have guy needs to make the copper stuff. He needs to have a lot of copper coming in. Well, not a lot. He needs to have copper coming in. Oh, he can just go right there. He's making copper components. And he has 2 outputs worth of that. Need to space this across because he needs to have all of his outputs coming out like this. And what I'm going to do is have him do that. So here's our copper components that are going to be coming in. That will get us 80 copper components per minute, which we'll be able to do 160, and we need our 80 shiverthorn coming in over here. Well, that's not too bad. We can just bring the shiverthorn right down like this. Our box can go here. That gets us our half that goes into the box. Oh, but this box, potentially I may need to sink a lot of these. So let's do it all the way around. And the splitter is going to go here. I want to bring it right up like that. And you are going to get turned and head across right like that. And let's see, is this a large number? This is not a particularly large number. So Victor will be consuming up to 20 per minute of these. We're going to be turning out a lot of belts here. That's cool. So the other part of this is, if we have the materials, we're going to be running this at full speed. I want to make it available in a box, which means I need to do something a little bit more. I'm going to do this. And you're going to make conveyor belts. Now all of this goes in a box. So I'm going to put you here. Potentially 4 fast inserters pointing into this box. This box will collect all of the... It's too bad I can't just put a box in the middle here. I could. Do 1 box there. So if this guy slows down, these belts will back up and the excess will go into the box. Oh, and this guy will have excess that it can't put out there. Oh. I want him to always be able to output. There. So he can dump 4 fast inserters worth into these boxes. And this guy can retrieve 4 fast inserters worth from there. His input is 37.5 mechanical parts. We're gonna have to make this wider. Mechanical parts, we need 37.5 of them. He requires, call it 10 and 20. So copper and a lot of iron. F10. He requires some copper and a lot of iron. We're going to do boom, boom, and like that. There's the iron. And there's the copper. Overkill on these guys, but why not? And now he needs to provide into here. I'll just set up 2 of these guys. One is actually sufficient in every case here. And we will end up filling up these boxes. But I'm not going to prioritize it. I will continue to make these by hand, but I do want to get all of the tier 2s that I can. And what is he missing? He's not getting his copper parts yet because they're way over here. Oh, they should be coming in. Oh, right. That's fine. At some point, we will be using more iron and copper than is being turned out by our mines here. Hopefully, we will get to the point where we can upgrade Victor and get the better smelters in. So what have we done? We've delivered the processing units. We have automated conveyor belts, iron frames, and copper. We've got the power. So all we need to upgrade Victor now is some Atlantum ingots and time. Let's go get some Atlantum. And I think this is a good time to stop the recording. So our next recording will be the grand foray to go do some Atlantum mining and bring it back and thresh it so we can do that whole sequence of Atlantum, and we'll do that up at the other spot. We'll do that up at Hydro, where we have all of the intermediates from the farming. We'll need this to run for a while. So, how long? About 5,000 frames. So, and the frames are being turned out at what? Why can I not go forward here? Frames are being turned out at 12.5 per minute. That's 400 minutes. So, yeah, and that's if I dump them all in. Well, we'll just let it run. I clearly have a bunch of things I can do. I probably should have automated this a long time ago. I should probably look at reworking this area so that it is focused exactly on doing iron frames and copper frames and nothing else. So if we were going to do that, well, iron frames, copper frames, and belts. I'll have to work out the math. When we come back, I may be wiping this base out and rebuilding from scratch as a base that just does it. That may involve putting in better miners and just having a big floor out here somewhere to do my smelting. Yep. So that's going to take a while. And what are we doing it for? We're doing it so that we can avoid waiting, call it 8 hours of in-game time to get those built versus making better mining area. I like the idea of upgrading Victor to do the right thing. So when we come back, either I will be going out to score some Atlantum, or I will have a completely new plan for Victor. So chill, go out and have a good time, and I'll see you when we get back.